Hey folks, how you doing? So we're here again, and this time around we have a 1957D roll. I do have a small announcement to make. I am not prepared for it. Surprise, surprise. I do have the roll here. Actually, I don't have the roll out. I have to get the roll out. But I also have to stuff flips because I made dinner tonight. I wanted to be sure. I wanted to be sure that I was online on time, so I didn't want to be late. And I was only by 4 minutes, but I do need to tell you that I'm not yet ready, but that will change. Where did I put? So I got my flip inserts somewhere around here. What did I do with them? Hang on just a second. Okay, now I think I'm ready to remain seated. Getting ready to bake cookies. She's making cookies. Oh my gosh. I wish I was making cookies right now. Here's my eyeballs. So how's everybody doing? Is anybody here that wasn't here earlier today? Kind of excited to be going through this roll of 1957D. The number of nifty things known for 1957D, including double Die Obverses, many of which show in Liberty. There's also the occasional repunch mint mark, of course. Plenty of repunch mint marks for 1957D. And this is going to be a Fed-wrapped roll from Kansas City. And so here is our adieu to the Kansas City Chiefs, coming up here in a couple of days to see who's going to be the football champions of 2020. Yes, and of course a lot of people say this is a new decade, but technically they're incorrect. We don't start counting at 0, we start counting at 1. So since we start counting at 1, the first year of a decade would have a 1 at the end. Easiest way of explaining that. You know what? I'm doing this backwards, which is why it isn't working out very well for me. Like, I need to be doing stuff with the hands that I'm used to be doing it with here. It's like trying to cut onions with the wrong hand. You end up cutting your finger. What's up, Adam? And Brian Allen, you've been in and out today? Is that because you're doctoring? Or are you off today? I bet you're doctoring. You just get time in between more important things to tune in once in a while. I don't envy the work you people do at all. I'm highly appreciative of it. You're at the lake today? Awesome. Yeah, that whole lake thing, we're going to have to go check that out sometime. For sure. I'm definitely a lake person. I don't even know what lake it is, but I know that there's plenty of nice countryside in that area of South Carolina. I'll tell you for sure. So Mom and I are talking about moving. Talking about moving to the other side of town, maybe buying a house. Kind of got our idea where we need to live and what we need to do and where we need to be and all that. And where we presently are is not where we're going to stay. Because where we presently are is in the Research Triangle area, which that's Morrisville, Carpenter, and Cary. And the problem with being in the Research Triangle area is that we're probably 15% above the rest of this area in housing expenses. And not that it's too expensive for us, but we think we can get better for less if we move. And we moved to this area because we thought Mama needed to be really close to her office, right? She was going to have to go to the office every day. We wanted to give her a short commute. Well, the problem with that is that most of the time now she's working from home. So it really doesn't matter where she lives. Just as it doesn't matter where I live because, well, I got you guys pretty much anywhere, right? It doesn't matter where I am. In fact, probably half of you watching don't even know where I am. So, ooh, Todd. Hey, Todd. So let me ask you, Brian, what do you do at a lake when you're not really working? It's winter. It's dark. You just chill? Is that what it is? And I would love to just chill. Okay, there's our flip inserts ready. Get my keyboard out of the way. Move my tray into place. And here are our names. There is one blank in here. This is our blank right here. When I draw this blank, the person's name who I drew directly before the blank will get that coin. So I have one freebie to give away during this particular broadcast. And we also have the wrapper. The wrapper, which is a Kansas City Federal Reserve wrapper. And here we go. I'm going to stick all of that inside my bag. Shake it up really good. And my bag is ready to go. Now I'm ready to go. Pick this roll apart. I love this little tool I got here. This little tool is really cool. My tool is cool. I can remember the amount of time, if you go back and watch any of my early shows on this roll reveal thing, how long I would spend picking at a roll to get it open. This thing just rakes it right open. Doesn't hurt the coins at all because it's made of plastic. And yes, I wash it. It's not dirty. So here we go. The roll comes up over the coins just like usual. We have a Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City wrapper sitting in front of us here, waiting to go to a new home. And we have a bunch of 1957D Lincoln cents. I'm going to go ahead and draw a name out of here, get our first coin under the scope. Joe McBride. Joe McBride's going to get the end roll coin. We've got some nice toning. Pretty color on this coin. And I'm not seeing the typical double die obverse that I would be looking for in Liberty. You have splits and separation lines in Liberty. I'm seeing what could be a minor repunchment mark. So let me zoom in on that real quick. Let's see if we have indeed a repunchment mark here. My light's flickering, and my light's flickering because I have my printer on. Funny that I have to turn my printer off to be able to broadcast because my light flickers otherwise. Okay. I'm not really seeing enough to list here. So it is a repunchment mark, but it's a very, very minor one. So let me back out here. And we'll finish looking at the coin. Gosh, look at those colors. It's a really nice color on this one. I like this coin. And of course the reverse is going to be nice and shiny red because it was not exposed to the end of the roll. The wrapper paper is sitting right on the surface of the coin. This is actually a really nice toner. Really pretty toner from Joe McBride. First coin in the roll. Don't have any die varieties on this one, but hey, it is what it is, right? Joe McBride. Let's take a look at coin number 2 for Jeremy. Jeremy gets in on coin number 2. Let's take a look and see what it is. Okay, we've got a bunch of die scratches going northwest from the 1-9 of the date. One goes straight into the upper lip. So that's something that we can watch for in making sure that we are running into the same die over and over again, which we should be because this should be an original roll. Straight out of the bank wrapper, there's a die break in the bottom of the B of Liberty. Interesting series of hits on the rim there that are pretty much equally spaced. They look almost like reading. It's interesting. We got no doubled eyelid, no doubled Die Obverse. Not really expecting to find much on the reverse of 1957D. However, we could. There's no reason why we couldn't. It's just that we shouldn't expect it because, well, there's no double die reverses known for 1957D Lincolns. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next coin. Get ourselves a pretty nice looking. I have no complaints about the way these coins look. They're nice and shiny. So a nice shiny coin for Jeremy. Now move on to coin number 3. Coin number 3 will go to dun 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 Taco John. Taco John. It's coin number 3. Come on, folks. Let's get those double dies and repunch mint marks running. Okay, we got a connector between the 9 and 5. We got a double connector. 2 heavy die scratches running between the 9 and the 5 of the date. So that's going to be a good marker to use for this one. And I don't see anything else going on around the mint mark area. Let's check for a double die. And we do not have hub doubling on this one. Not that I can see anyway. Nope, doesn't look like it. No hub doubling on this coin, on the obverse. Let's check for a doubled eyelid real quick. I think I might be running a little too bright. Let me dim it down a little bit. We can always change it if we need to. But I needed to dummy that light down a little bit. It was a little bit too oppressive. There we go. That should be about right. Something like that. Alright, let's take a look at the reverse real quick and see if anything happened on the reverse. Hello, Midnight Silver Run. Let's see what we got going on here. Well, there's no hub doubling on the reverse that I can see. None there, boys and girls. Time to move on to coin number 4. So this is coin number 3 for Taco John. Got a nice gem coin here. I mean, it's a pretty coin, but it just doesn't have anything on it for us to talk about. Not knocking these coins down at all. They are nice. It's just there's only certain ones that you actually need to talk about, right? Adam Chambers gets the next coin. Let's see what Adam gets. It's coin number 4. Oh, looky there. We have a pretty RPM. How about that? Somebody knows which number this is. I don't specifically know the number on this RPM. I believe, let's see, let me check over here. I mean, it should be pretty simple, easy to find. I'm going to go to my website real quick and take a look for it. Let's see, Lincoln Wheat Cents. And this is going to be number 11. Yeah, this is RPM number 11. Yep. That it is. It's RPM number 11, folks. Got us a nice little RPM. A lot of markers on this one. Not that we really need any of them because this RPM is a very distinct looking RPM. But that's definitely RPM number 11, 1957D. Let's check the reverse for any errors. We're not going to have a double die reverse because, well, RPM number 11 is not paired with a double die reverse, and, well, it would be if it had one, so that's going to be die 1 on the day. Die 1 on the day is RPM number 11. This one goes to Adam Chambers. Let's take a name out of here for the next one. Doug Reese. Doug Reese will get the next coin in line. And we have a nice clash mark under the throat and in front of the tie. But on this coin, I do not see anything resembling a repunch mint mark. Looking for hub doubling. I don't see any of that either at present. Finish looking at the eyelid area. Nothing in there. It appears that there's nothing extra on In God We Trust. So we have nothing on the obverse of this coin to take note of. Moving on to the reverse. And I see nothing special in the reverse either. Hello, Pammy Jones. So this one we have die scratch from the bottom of the vest through the bottom of the 1 in the date. And then we have real heavy die clash mark in front of the throat and in front of the bow tie area. And this is a non-variety die. So we know that this one's not going to produce anything. That's for Doug Reese. Let's take a look at the next coin. For Bulldog. Bulldog, quit causing trouble. Come over and take a look at your coin. Let's see. He's got himself a split serif RPM here. It says split lower serif RPM. And you get to a point where you can see it real well. There it is. You can see it pretty well there. So that's going to be die number 2 on the day. Got a nice little split serif RPM. It looks like he's smoking a stick. He's got a heavy die scratch going up out of his mouth. A couple of other heavy die scratches between the we and the trust. Well, there's heavy die scratches all over this coin. Gosh, and there's more of that. I don't know what this is. I've seen it on a few coins now. Just a bunch of little digs right at the rim. It looks like it could have something to do with a machine that was actually doing something with the coins before it left the mint. But I'm not really sure what that is. It could have to do with, in some form or fashion, with the feeder finger that was moving the coins. But it looks like damage until you look really closely at it. Strange. Very strange. Okay, so we have this RPM. Let's find a good marker to use for it. We've got that smoking gun, that smoking stick. But let's look for something at the date. We have a whole bunch of northeast die scratches, but there's one old and very heavy die scratch running up toward the middle of the 9. So I'll take that as my marker of choice in the date area, and then I'll move up and take a look at this to see that we have the same die again. So that's going to be what I'm going to do for this one. This one's going to be die number 2 on the day. I don't know what the die number is if this one is listed. I don't know what it is listed as yet. But everyone watching needs to know that as I go through these, if I find something that's a die variety, I'll pull it aside. If it is a listed die variety, I will give you the listing number of your die variety. I will attribute it for you. And then I'll send you your die variety. If it happens to be one that I need for photographs for the website, I'll take photographs of it, and then I'll give you the coin back as a plate coin, and you will get credit for that plate coin. Plate coin basically means a coin which was photographed for a publication. Book, magazine, website, whatever. And so a plate coin means that you're getting a coin of importance because images of that coin were used to teach other people. Let's see if we can find us a good marker on this so we know it's a normal die. So we've got a bunch of die scratches going from the 9 to the chin. I think we might have seen this before, but we've got the broken B there. And so let's say that you're coin happens to be from a die that's not yet listed. Well, I'm going to list that die, photograph your coin, and then what you end up with is a plate coin of a new listing. And it's going to say that on the flip insert. It'll say new listing, plate coin. If you get a plate coin of a new listing, or you just get a plate coin, or you get a new listing, any of those three can be submitted to NX, and NX will give you your coin back with that annotation if you ask for it on the submission form. SRK Iron Man gets our next coin, and it is... I'm thinking this is a normal. Yes, is a normal one because it's got that... it's got the die scratch from the bottom of the vest to the bottom of the one. It's got the clash marks. And so we've seen this die before. It's a beginning indicator that we do have an original fresh die here, or original fresh roll. Of course, we already know that we have an original fresh roll because this is a Kansas City Fed roll. But if this were a tubed roll, let's pretend it was a tubed roll. We're getting a good indication here that this is original. Yes, you ask for them to put plate coin on it when you send it in. They're not going to send your flip back to you unless you pay them an extra fee. But they will send the coin back to you. Oh, I started looking at this one before I drew a name. Let me get a name out. Jeremy. Jeremy will get this one. And it appears to be a normal coin. Very shiny one, but a normal coin. It is the same die that we just looked at. Yep, it is another one of the same die we just looked at. There's your B. Again. It does cost extra to get the label because it did do a variety verification. And I think their typical price, I'm not going to really get into pricing all that much. I'm just going to give you an indication, an idea. Their typical price to submit coins is roughly $10. And a variety is roughly $20. It's roughly double the price. I'm sure if Brian is around, he probably knows if they list a variety for you on the label, how much extra that costs on the submission. Oh, I forgot to put Jeremy's name on that one. And the next one will be Levels of Madness. Levels of Madness will get the next coin in the roll, and it is this one right here. And we have another one of the same die again. It's got the heavy clash in the throat. It's got the die scratch up to the one of the date. So this is another normal coin. It's a really nice grade. I mean, these coins are coming out pretty nice. So it's $10 show special. I add an extra $5 for varieties. Okay. I don't know if there might not be some chance that I might be able to do that submission for you. And if I submit them, they will holder them. And I don't know if I might not be able to do that and get your coins back to me so I can mail them to you. I'm not sure I really want to get into doing that, but it seems like something that we're more likely to have proper service if it's done by the same person every time. You know what I'm saying? Okay, next coin. Coin number 11 will go to Paul Hampton. Gosh, this coin is just fantastically bright. Really, really bright coins. Oh, there we go. There's another RPM number 11. Oh, I didn't notice Pammy asked. Yeah, the slots for these reveals are sold during the Tuesday evening auctions. I'm thinking about spreading that out a little bit more because there's some people who can't be at the Tuesday evening auctions. Paul Hampton gets himself an RPM number 11. That's die 1 on the day. So we have 2 of those out of this roll now. And PJ Curtis will get the next coin in the roll. And PJ Curtis gets a Clash coin. We're going to call this the Clash coins. And the Clash coins are normal. And I saw Brian mention above that he listed a number of, that Wexler has listed a number of different doubled eyelids for the 1957D. I do always check 1957D for doubled eyelids for that very reason. There are a number of minor double Die Obverses listed for 1957D. Okay, got nothing here. Normal coin, but it's a nice one. So PJ Curtis gets coin number 12. Moving right along to coin number 13. Coin number 13 is for Doug Reese. Doug Reese will get... Oh, we're upside down, but hey, whatever, right? It's another one of the Clash coins. So it's a Clash coin. It's not going to have a variety on it, but where you can look at it for grade, and it does look pretty nice. Yeah, the Minnesota extra tree thing is just ridiculous. There's got to be 100 of them, right? There's a lot of them out there. New listings, new discovery are not the same thing. New discovery is something that most attributors will not use. And the reason for that is because if you get a coin that is new to that listing system, it doesn't mean that it's a new discovery altogether because someone else could have already listed it. Additionally, you might have the first coin that was recognized, but you probably don't have the first one that someone collected. And to not take away from people who collected the coins and might have an example, we just don't use that term, new discovery, at all. So discovery piece or discovery coin, we just don't use it. Next one goes to Paul Hampton. Let's see what Paul Hampton gets. Looks like it's going to turn out to be a regular coin. A non-die variety. Yes and no. Plate coin and discovery coin are also different things because plate coin simply means that I took photographs of your coin. So the coin that is in the holder that says plate coin is the one that photographs are being used on Coppercoins. The thing about that, though, is that plate coin's not always going to be the first coin that I saw. It's going to be the nicest one I saw because I want the best photos to be on the website, not just the first photos. Secondly, if I have photographed one that was, say, in AU, and then I open a BU roll, and I had already taken photographs of one that was in AU and put it on the website, and decided that the one in BU is nicer, I'm going to take photographs of that BU coin and put that on the website, and that will then become the new plate coin. So plate coins can change, discovery coins cannot. So if I call your coin a plate coin, then that just simply means that it was photographed for Coppercoins. If at some point in the future that coin is replaced, then you still got a plate coin that was photographed, but it may not be the one that has current photographs on the website. So to be very clear, plate coin does not mean that was the first coin discovered. Plate coin simply means that I photographed your coin for the website. Okay, we have another new one. 170 different dies. Oh my gosh. I know there were a lot of them. I knew that. I just didn't know how many were a lot. Sometimes I think I didn't check things through thoroughly enough when I went through the first time, so I go through again and I look again. That's just my own OCD about making absolutely certain that I've seen what I thought I saw. Coin Junkie. Hey, hey, hey. Mon frère canadien. Taco J. Next coin. And we have a normal one with a die chip in the 9, a die chip in the 5. This is a different die altogether than we've seen before, I do believe. The one channel where you take notes. Well, I definitely appreciate that. I started this off just as an idea. Let's see if this works. And then it worked. And it's due to my OCD and my loud mouth that I couldn't just do this and be really quiet about it. Because I figured if I just do this, people are going to fall asleep. So what I did instead is I decided, well, let me talk about what I'm looking at. Let me talk about what I'm looking for. That way, it'll help you hone your skills. It'll help me hone my skills. It'll get me talking to people more than I usually do because, well, typically the only time I talk during the day is when I'm online like this. The we, are we talking about... I don't know, but I didn't see any hub doubling on Wii. It's not too hard to find those that have... See, here's a different Clash coin. It's not too hard to find those that have some machine doubling on Wii. Okay, this one has the die break in the B, and... So it's a little bit different. It is a little bit different. Is it a die variety, though? No, it's not. Not a die variety. It's a normal coin. It has very heavy die scratches running north and south through the date area. It has a clash in the throat, and it has a broken bottom to the B. It also, you can actually see the C in cent coming through on the clash behind the nape of the neck. Hello, J.O.B. Okay, I'm seeing nothing here. I'm going to flip it over and take a look at the other side. And again, what we're looking for on the reverse of wheat cents most typically is going to be class 2 spread or a class 6 spread toward the rim. What that's going to look like, it's going to have separation lines, usually on the pluribus unum. Your dots are going to be egg-shaped instead of round. They're going to be pretty distinctly egg-shaped. And then you'll probably have extra lines running on the outside edge of the wheat on either side or both sides, and you could have extra thick stems on the bottom. And that's generally what you're looking for on the reverse of wheat cents. Other forms of doubling include class 4 hub doubling, where typically the central area of the coin will be doubled. You'll find those most typically on 1942, 43, and 44 cents. I don't know exactly why, but that's when you'll most typically find those. The typical clashes that could be listed on Mad Die Clashes. Okay. It's the Mad Die Clash. Is it maddieclash.com or maddieclashes.com? Kelly Michaud gets the next coin. And Kelly Michaud gets an RPM 11. Yay! I love it when I can find these nice coins for people. It's fun. maddieclashes.com. Okay. Yeah. So we have another RPM number 11. This one's going to go to Kelly Michaud. Kelly Michaud is one of our Canadian friends. Awesome. This is a very nice, bright example, too. Nice grade. Pretty high grade looking coin. 65, 66-ish. It's pretty. That's coin number 18 in the roll. Generally, penny saver cash, I do not. Generally, I do not. Especially the ones that I'm finding in these rolls. These coins all go away. All of them have been purchased. So I don't keep anything out of the roll. Deanne will get the next coin. I may have examples of some of these dies in the master set, but digging them all out and showing them under the scope would take an hour, as the show generally takes an hour. And I want to try to limit these shows to about an hour long. I've tried the idea, or thought about the idea of maybe doing an introduction, a few minutes worth of chit-chat before the show starts, to actually show people what we might be looking for in the roll. And I thought about doing that, and that is still a possibility. It's still a realistic possibility. Kind of mulling it over in my head to see what I want to do for sure, because what I want to do has to be simple enough that I can actually take care of it time after time after time, because I don't want to change every single time I do a new show. $1983 floating head Lincoln cent. I've seen a lot of coins from the mid-'80s that were well over-polished. And yes, I've seen ones that appear not to have a throat or not to have a neck. I've never really called one a floating head, though. This one's for Akram. This is only his second time through a roll. And this coin's going to turn out, appears to be a normal coin. For instance, the ADC011 is an atypical die clash. I'm not exactly sure what it looks like, but I know that atypical die clashes are very different animals. They're very different altogether. Now, a die clash, as well as a cud, a die break, die cracks, or any of those other things, are considered die errors by the purists. The reason they're die errors is because die varieties are on the die at the time the die is created. Die errors develop on a die as a die is being used. JOB. For James Wiles to list a new RPM, what would he require? I found 14 very nice, noticeable double split serif 1956 D cents out of an OBW roll last night. It's got great markers, too. I can tell you now that James Wiles is not very typical for listing split serif RPMs, even if they're nice split serif RPMs. But if it really looks nice and strong, looks like something you think he would list, he will do it. He is accepting attributions. Look at that. There's a doubled eyelid. A doubled eyelid, 1957D. So we have a minor double Die Obverse now. Okay, so let me get this moved around so that it appears. And then we will zoom it in and take a really good close look at it. And what we're looking at here is the fact that you have an area of relief that is parallel to the typical eyelid, or near parallel to the typical eyelid, and it appears to be another eyelid poking out of the eye. And that's what this is. This is a doubled eyelid. It is a class 4 offset hub doubled die. Sometimes these doubled eyes and doubled eyelids continue on through to either the date or the lettering above the head, or sometimes you'll see them as doubled ears or doubled inside of the ear. And this one does not appear to follow through to anywhere else, but we do have a really nice die chip in the 9 of the date to use as a good marker for this. Now, of course, I will be going through these coins again prior to packing them up to ship them, so if I missed another one of these earlier, I'll be sure to attribute it for you. There's an answer for you, Adam. Cuds Are Us just gave you a good answer. If you want to send him the address or a link to the address, I believe the Kaneka website or Variety Vista will give you his address where you can send coins into him. So this one's nice. Coin number 21 for JOB. You're going to get a doubled eyelid. That's a double Die Obverse. Coin number 22. Coin number 22 will go to SRK Iron Man. SRK Iron Man will get, oh, nice little bunch of machine doubling going on there on the front of the portrait, lips, otherwise, but that is machine doubling. This one is going to have a break in the B. Yep. This is a die that we have already seen. This is what confused me with the last one that we got, because it's got a break in the lower B, but it was a doubled eyelid. But the markers were all different. This one has the die scratches going from the 1-9 up to the chin, and that's what told me, hey, look over at that B. You're going to see a break over there, and you did. So this is a normal die. We've passed through these before. Yeah, he will tell you too minor to list in a lot of cases. He's gotten to a point where he doesn't want to list anything that's not really more or less obvious. I can actually see his face and hear his voice saying that. I just don't want to list anything that doesn't really have much market interest. If it doesn't have much market interest, there's not really a point in listing it. I kind of get his point there. But his point of what's too minor is a little more major than what my too minor is. My too minor is a little more minor, if you can follow that at all. Betty Butter bought some butter for her batter, but the butter Betty bought was bitter. So Betty Butter bought some better butter for her batter. Here's another one of the split serif RPMs. This is going to be die number 2 for the day. Die number 2 for the day. It's got a whole bunch of die scratches coming up out of the face. A whole bunch of die scratches in and around Liberty and up through In God We Trust. But this one, I believe, is going to match die number 2 for the day. It's a nice little double split serif. I think we got that one for Bulldog. That is correct. We did get it for Bulldog. Let me take a look at Bulldog's coin real quick and make sure that I'm matching up to the same die. This is Bulldog's coin. Okay, and in this one I can remember now he was smoking a stick. Had a little stick of straw coming up out of his mouth. And what do we have on this one? Okay, it's a lot closer to the 5 than it is to the 9, but it is high. So it's a high mint mark, closer to the 5 than to the 9. And so we'll take a look at this one and see if we have the same markers. If we don't, it's going to be a new die. And focus it again. Okay, we do not have the stick coming out of the mouth. And this one is not closer to the 5 than it is to the 9. So this is a different die altogether. So this is a new die for us. We're on coin number 22, so we're still not quite halfway through the roll. And we have found our first example of this repunchment mark. That's a weed. Yeah, it's a weed. Lots of weeds. And this one's for Hawkeye, PA. And so that is actually going to be die number 4 on the day, because die number 1 is the RPM 11. Die number 2 is the one we just looked at for Bulldog. Die number 3 is a doubled eyelid. And die number 4 now is this new RPM that I just pulled an example of. Marshall's going to get the next coin. New Marshall in town. What does New Marshall in town get? Looks like a swift kick in the seat of the pants. We've got... This is yet another new die. I have not seen this one yet. It's an earlier die state die. It's early to mid die state. It doesn't have anything doubled on it. However, it does have a patch of very heavy die scratches running through the first half of Liberty. I've not seen that yet today. So let me flip it over, take a look and see if there's anything on the reverse for us to take advantage of. It doesn't appear that there is anything that we're going to be able to discuss on the reverse of this coin. So we will remember what we have, stick it in the flip number 24 for a New Marshall, and move on to the next coin. I should probably give James a call. I've got his phone number. I should call him and just talk to him for a little while. I haven't caught up with him in years. Joe McBride. What does Joe McBride have? Yeah, it looks like Joe McBride got himself a normal coin. Let's take a look over in the area of Liberty. This is a different die from the one we just looked at. No hub doubling do I see. And no doubled eyelid, which would also be hub doubling, so maybe I should keep my mouth shut until I look at the eye. Let's see here. What do we have on the reverse? Looks like we got pretty much a normal coin on the reverse, too. See that little bit of extra thickness there on the bottom of the U and the bottom of the S? I kind of stopped at that for a second because I thought, that looks like extra thickness, like we would have a Class 6 double die. See the L of pluribus and the P of pluribus? There's a sign right there for you. Here's your sign. You have a lowered relief O of 1, and you have little tiny... it looks like little tiny struck throughs, little tiny sticks all over the area there. Basically what that is incompletely struck planchet area. And you have incompletely struck letters. And letters are beveled in shape. So they start out wider at the base and they get narrower as you go up the relief of the letter. And so what you end up with a lower relief letter, one that wasn't struck completely, is it's going to be a little fatter than you would expect it to be. Because if you look at the upper half of any of these letters, you'll notice that there is a larger, wider area than the part that you see that's lit up as the highest point of relief. So that's why these are thicker. They're thicker because you have a lower relief strike. So this is a good point to bring up, is when you're looking at something you think you might have an RPM, you think you might have an error, you think you might have a double die, challenge yourself to look around the other area and explain away what you've just seen. Because if you can explain away what you've just seen, you're probably correct. And given that you're probably correct, you've probably just taken yourself away from thinking you have an error. My little tidbit of education for the day brought to you by Ivory Soap. Actually, no, not really, but... Robert Adams. Robert Adams gets the next coin in the roll. You have a bad toothache? Oh, no. Hey, this one looks like it's going to be a doubled eyelid. You see what I see? Let's go check. There it is. There's your doubled eyelid right there. Yep, we got that signature die chip in the 9. We're going to have a doubled eyelid. This one goes to Robert Adams. So we have a double die to send to Robert Adams, and there's our die break in the bottom of the B, just to show us for sure that that's what we've got. That's right, that 9 is going to be our signature in this roll, that we're going to have that doubled eyelid. I don't know whether or not I've got it listed already, but I definitely will list it, if it hasn't been already. And the nicest coin in the roll, the one that smiles best for the camera, is going to be the plate coin. That's how we do it. See how much thinner everything looks up here? That's because you have a heavier strike. You notice how the O is more full, more filled out, and then these letters up here are more full and more filled out. That's right. You have a heavier strike. So now you know more what an incomplete strike looks like. Or a weak strike. Let's just call it a weak strike, because an incomplete strike is actually something different. So that's die number 3 on the day. That's the second example of that we found so far. And PJ Curtis is going to get the next coin. Yeah, let's see what we've got for PJ Curtis. Yeah, PJ, it looks like you have a normal coin. This is going to have that little hash mark of die scratches around the BER of Liberty. There it is, or IBE of Liberty anyway. I don't remember having passed by this die prior to our conversation about it when I found it like 3 or 4 coins ago. But it is possible that we've run across this die before and I just didn't notice all that. See if there's any errors on the reverse. And no, boys and girls, I am not on drugs. Just got finished eating my dinner and I'm in a good mood, and it's just time to move on. Time to get things done. Let's get her done. More weak strike than incomplete strike, because an incomplete strike is actually going to have missing design details. So an incomplete strike, or one that was under pressure, like not enough pressure, under pressure. There's another RPM number 11. Steve looking for silver gets this one. They are going to look quite different from what we saw with an incomplete strike, or with a weak strike. So weak strike and incomplete strike are really kind of two different things. See, there's a little bit of weakness in your strike. Would you like a little weakness in your strike? Have a Hershey's candy bar. I don't know why I said that. All right, Steve looking for silver is going to get an RPM number 11. It's nice that we're getting a pretty RPM in the roll. Levels of Madness is going to get our next coin. At least it gives the people who like the really nice stuff something to look forward to. Let's see what we got going on here. Looks like we're going to have a normal coin. Looks like we have a normal coin. Now look how bright that is, though. Wow. That is one bright, lustrous coin. Some nice gems here. Nice gem coins. Remember, you're looking at these things hundreds and hundreds of times their normal size. There's a little tiny bit of machine doubling on the edge of the M in Unum. Hundreds and hundreds of times their normal size. If I was to be able to show these coins to you at their normal size, you'd be highly impressed by the way they look. Because they are cute. Cute, nice coins. Let's just for the heck of it, let's back out on Levels coin here and take a good look at the whole thing. How about that? How about we do that? There you go. See that? Look how impressive that strike is. That luster. That's a sweet coin. You're easily impressed? Then I'm your guy. That is pretty, isn't it? Nice looking coin. Got a little bit of abrasion going on underneath the lower left wheat stem. But I certainly don't see any reason why you wouldn't call this a gem coin. There's absolutely nothing making this a not gem. MS65 red at least. Nice original coin here. So that one's going to Levels. What did I say it was? Anything? No, it's a normal coin. Still cool though. I have to move this down, and when I do that, I am going to have to refocus it. So close your eyes while I refocus the scope. There we go. It's too low. There we go. All right, we have a Clash coin. It's been a while since I've seen one of these. But we have a Clash coin. Clash coin being that the clash in the throat and in front of the vest, and then up from the vest through the lower one on the date, you have a long die scratch. We've seen a number of these already. They don't produce anything as far as die varieties are concerned, so we need to look for any errors that there could be on the reverse. A lot of times there's a number of things like broken planchets, struck throughs, laminations, even sometimes a brockage, an indent, or something else like that is not going to show on one side and will show on the other side. So don't short yourself by looking at one side of your coins. Regardless of what they are, even if you're only looking for RPMs, don't short yourself and not look at the reverse. All right, next coin goes to Don Harmon. Don Harmon gets coin number 31 in the roll. And coin number 31 appears to be... Is it? I believe that's an RPM. Certainly looks like an RPM. It is an RPM. Let's see. Let me get that little fleck of stuff off of there so we can look at the RPM instead of looking at that fleck of stuff. Yeah, definitely an RPM. This is... Oh, gosh. Hard to remember. I think it's number... Is it number 7? No, I don't think so. It's not going to be number 7. Hey, somebody look this up for me. This is a... I'm sure this is a listed RPM. I'm pretty sure it is. You've got that extra mint mark coming down. It's a south RPM. Let me focus in on this real close. There we go. That is an RPM. I just can't remember which one, if it's listed. I'm pretty sure it's listed. If it's not listed, it needs to be, because it is cute. So you think it's RPM number 1? I'm thinking maybe it is. Maybe it's RPM number 1. I'm going to take a look at markers for RPM number 1, because if it gets weak, it does get weak. Yeah, this could be RPM number 1, because RPM number 1 does get weak toward the end of its life. It should also have a strong clash mark, which I don't see. Here it is in its latest form. Its latest form. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, filled B. Does it have a filled B? Not a filled B. Oh, this actually becomes a BIE after a while. I'm going to say this is RPM number 1. I do believe it is RPM number 1. It looks like it's going to be a stage F Kaneka listing. Or stage... No, E. Stage E does not have... Well, it's between stage E and stage F. Because Liberty definitely has the die scratches, but it doesn't have the break in the bottom of the B. And then you don't have the clash mark because, well, these die scratches polished out the clash mark. But this appearance on the bottom of the mint mark looks exactly like the stage F photos on Variety Vista. So yeah, I'm thinking definitely RPM number 1. So given that it's RPM number 1, oh, James Wiles calls this with a value of $40. $40 in 65 red. I don't think I'd go quite that high, but not too far off the mark. Probably $15, $20. But yeah, I do believe this is RPM number 1, which means I'm going to have to go back through the entire roll and make sure that I didn't miss any other RPM number 1s, but this one goes to Don Harmon. It is coin number 31 and will be die number 5 on the day. Die number 5 on the day is RPM number 1. Okay, let's take a look at coin number 32. This is Jim Fletcher. Jim Fletcher will get coin number 32, and what does Jim Fletcher get? I'm not seeing anything on this one. Not seeing anything on the obverse. Let's take a look on the reverse and see what we get. Nothing but a nice clean BU coin. But it is a nice BU coin. So Jim Fletcher gets himself a nice 1957 D. Lincoln cent. Move on to the next person. Oh, look at that. Mr. Fletcher is going to get the wrapper. Mr. Fletcher gets the wrapper. Here's our original Kansas City Fed Reserve wrapper. I'll put J. Fletcher on this. And stick it off to the side for Mr. Fletcher. I have a pile of these things starting up on me here. I've still got all of the wrappers that I've ever given away. I've got to get these things somehow properly protected and put in some sort of a container to mail them. I still haven't figured out exactly how I want to handle that. Steve looking for silver. Steve looking for silver. I do have them, though. That's the important part. Steve looking for silver will get the next coin. It appears to be a normal coin from all things I'm seeing so far. Tis what it is. Take a look at the other side here and see what we come out with. I think the girls are doing something with ice in a blender downstairs. Guess what that means? They're getting soused. All right, Steve looking for silver gets himself a normal but nice 1957 D Lincoln cent. Moving right along to the next person, Steve Patet. Mr. Patet, you will get coin number 34, and coin number 34 looks like this. This one's going to have the broken B. Broken B and no die variety. There's your broken B. And no die variety. No, they won't fit in the tube. The reason they won't fit in the tube is because they've been, they've kind of been squashed out, you know. So what I did with all of the wrappers from 2019, I still have all of them. What I did with all those was I very carefully ironed them out flat, and I put them in 6x9 envelopes. And so the problem is that with are they 6x9 envelopes? No, they're half size. So what's half size? 5.5 by 8.5. 5.5 by 8.5. And I don't think those will fit in the bubble envelopes. So I'd have to send them in a flat, like a flat mailer. And to put them in a flat mailer, they'd end up having to go separately from anything else coin related that I would send, because those need to go in a bubble mailer. So probably what I need to do is just go get large bubble mailers, mail everyone their weekly order plus any flip or any rolls or wrappers that they've had. Mr. Dowdle gets the next coin. Yeah, bartender, you'll take one. I think what the girls are making is some sort of, they said coffee punch. I'm not even sure what that means. But I can tell you two things. One, it's probably going to taste something like coffee, and two, it's going to have alcohol in it. That tends to be the norm for the day. I'd take a margarita. You know, make me a margarita, I'll take a margarita. Actually, one of my more favorite things is a strawberry daiquiri with fresh strawberries. And what's wrong with being awake and drunk? It's better than being asleep and drunk. To me, anyway. Oh, you just burnt your mouth on melted chocolate. I guess there's a lot worse things you could burn your mouth on than melted chocolate. But I know that hurts. Ouch. Owie, owie. And here we're looking at what appears to be a normal 1957 D Lincoln cent. Yeah, I think this one's going to have the patch of scratches on the IBE of Liberty. No, this one's different. It's different from those. I don't see any markers I'm familiar with. Doesn't mean I haven't been over this die already. It just means it doesn't have any markers I recognize. So we'll pull this one, take a look at the other side, the reverse. It is a nice shiny coin. That doesn't seem to be anything to pull out for errors or varieties. So I will put this one in its flip with Jim Fletcher's name, not John Fletcher. Jim Fletcher's name, and I'll put it off to the side with everybody else's coins. Let's take a look. Next one's going to be Shannon McCord. Shannon gets this coin, and this coin is, it's another one of those minor split lower serif RPMs with the die scratches coming out of the face. Yes, yes, yes. There it is. Double split serifs. You can see them right there. And so this one is going to be, wow, test me here. What is it, die number 4 for the day? No, die number 4 was an RPM. I think it's die number 4 for the day. Let's check for those. On die number 4 for the day, this coin went to Hawkeye. There we go. Exactly like it. So that's die number 4 for the day. It's our second example of die number 4 for the day, and it's going to go to Shannon McCord. Taking a look on the reverse right now to see if there's any errors. I don't see anything on the reverse. I'll put this one off to the side with the other die number 4 for the day. Folks, I've done up to 7 different dies in one day. 7 different die varieties in a roll. And it's not hard to do if you got a pretty decent memory. This has got connectors to the 9 and the 5, so this one has markers of the second die for the day, which was not a die variety. This one should be the same as coin number 2 out of the roll. The wife came into the office today. She says, "You got time to walk the dog?" I said, "No, I have to do a broadcast in 15 minutes. "Well, you got time to walk the dog?" And I said, "No, I still have to cut my flips." "You have to what?" I said, just go take the dog for a walk. I don't have time to explain it right now. "You have to what?" "Have to cut my flip inserts on my name cards." Marshall gets a coin, and it is an RPM number 11. That's Marshall's second coin. I believe it's his second coin. It's his first RPM number 11. Awesome, awesome. Greetings, Mr. Fletcher. We were just talking about you. Were your ears burning? Was your nose itching? I don't remember which one it is. If somebody's talking about you, do your nose itch or do your ears burn? Or what is it? Do your eyes water? Okay, that is Mr. Marshall's second coin for the day on this roll. And he did get an RPM number 11. It's a nice RPM number 11, just like the others are. And we'll set that off to the side, and we will pull for coin number 40. Most people already have one coin pulled. Here's Shannon's second coin. Shannon's second coin is a normal coin. This is going to have the break in the B right there. And it is a normal coin. I know it because of the markers around the date. And this side, have a little bit of, looks like machine doubling on the bottom of the A of America. A little bit of it. Not much, though. And nothing else. Got some machine doubling on the bottom of Unum. On the inside of the wheat, you see a die break starting up on the edge of the T there, with a little bit of machine doubling on its bottom. Interesting little coin with some machine doubling on it, but otherwise nothing else, and the machine doubling doesn't bring any premium value. It just brings a little bit of interest in your life. Get a little interest in your life. Find some machine doubling. Itchy nose was going to kiss a fool. I don't know. My wife's My wife knows my itch a lot. Deanne gets a Clash coin. It's a Clash coin. This one is going to be a non-die variety. Oh, geez, folks. We're getting close to my next broadcast time. I keep messing around, and I'm going to end up running my broadcast together. I can't do that. All right. Well, that's going to be another normal coin, but it's going to be for Deanne. And, well, given Deanne's luck lately, I don't feel too sorry for her to have to take a beautiful 1957 D Lincoln cent instead of having a die variety or an error. Who's next? Eric Beyer. Eric Beyer gets coin number 42. Coin number 42 is... Well, look at that. What is that going to be? That's going to be a doubled eyelid. Bam. Oop, there's a ball of gunk on there. There we go. Forget you saw that. Now it's a doubled eyelid. Awesome sauce, folks. Another double die. Got a washer and a penny roll. That's not good. Well, Eric Beyer just got a double die out of this. Double die for Eric Beyer. That's 3 of those now. Mr. Patat will get the next coin, coin number 43. $43, 43. This one is, yep, a normal coin. You got the break in the B and the die scratches from the 1-9 to the beard. To the beard. Die scratches to the beard. I call everyone who does coins like this a nerd. And if you were an outsider looking in, I don't think there would be any other term that would come to mind when watching what we are doing presently. Oh, who is that?
It's an ice cream drink.
It's an ice cream drink?
Coffee and ice cream.
Coffee and ice cream?
Cold. It's cold.
Does it have alcohol?
Maybe.
It might. Okay. We have a cold ice cream drink. There's another RPM 1. No, wait a minute. No, it's not. Not RPM 1. I thought for a second that it was. We have what appears here to be a normal coin. Yes, we are all nerds. That's a point I'm trying to make. If you were the outsider standing here watching this happen, you would be gobstopped. Your jaw would be flung wide open, wondering just what it is that these people are saying, what they're talking about. And, oh, I never drew a name for that one. That wasn't good. Whose name did I draw? Adam Chambers. Adam is going to get this one. Okay, draw my name for my next coin. That's coin number 45, and the roll is going to be Eric Beyer. Eric Beyer's last coin, and what does it look like? It is going to be a normal coin. This one's going to have the break on the B. Right there. Break on the B. Nice. Your wife just yelled nerd. Ha! You know what? But when you are, you just have to own it. Own it and own it. Own it cold. Grandkids say, leave that loopy eye thing in your bag, Graham. Don't want you looking at the change at the auto parts store, huh? Got to be cooler than that. Leave that loopy thing in your bag. Yep. Yes, she did. Well, Mr. Dowdle is going to get the next coin here, so let's see if Mr. Dowdle gets a nice coin that us nerds are going to like. And unfortunately, we have a Clash coin, so this one's going to be a normal coin. We have a Clash coin, it's a normal coin. And a Clash coin has a Clash in the throat. And what do we see on this side? Looking for errors. No error. Now that right there is funny. I don't care who you are. Forgive me, baby Jesus, and feed the hungry kids in Africa. Akram gets the next one. And Akram gets a RPM number 11. How about that? First day doing rolls with us. He gets a nice RPM straight out of the first day. Well, that's what we do. And that's how we do it. Pilgrim. All right, so we got a nice RPM number 11 for Akram. That's coin number 47. No errors on the reverse side. So Akram will get a die number 1 for the day, which is RPM number 11. That's coin number 47. We have 3 coins remaining. Coin number 48 will go to... You notice that we haven't had our freebie yet? Hawkeye. Hawkeye gets coin number 48. One of the last 2 coins is going to be a freebie. It's either going to go to Hawkeye, or it's going to go to the person who I draw next. But this one is a Clash coin. See the Clash, see the die scratches. Let's take a look at the other side to make sure that we don't have anything in error to speak of. Could have a massive, massive struck through on this side. Could be struck through cloth. It could be struck through pretty much anything. And you wouldn't notice it on the other side of the coin. All right, but there is nothing on this one in particular. So Hawkeye PA gets a nice Clash coin. We're either going to drag out the freebie or we're going to drag out a name. One or the other. I've got 3 chips left. I only got 2 coins. What did I do wrong here? Okay, Don Harmon will get the next coin. So then what does that mean I've got left in my bag? Hey, I went and I did it again, didn't I? I forgot to put a name. Think I forgot to put a name with a coin. I did. Coin number 30. So we're going to put coin number 30 in now. I'm going to stick this one back in here. Shake them up. We got 2 people's names and a freebie in there. Let's hope it's a freebie. If it's a freebie, I'll give it to the person from coin number 29. That's what I got. Got the freebie. Who's coin number 29? Coin number 29 was Levels of Madness. Levels will get this one. Coin number 30. You guys need to quit distracting me. Let me do my job. All right, Levels gets this one. That's coin number 30. Now I'm going to draw for the next to the last coin in the bag, which will be Bulldog. Bulldog's the next to the last coin in this roll. And he gets, well, it's a nice split lower serif. That's going to be die number 4 on the day. Die number 4 on the day. Nice little split serif repunchment mark there. That's for Bulldog. If it's free, give me 3. Okay. It didn't say what I had to give you 3 of. So I'll give you 3 hard times instead of 1. There's Bulldog right there. Coin Number 49 is die number 4 on the day, and the last coin will go to Paul Hampton. Nope, sorry. Don Harmon. Don Harmon gets the next coin, and this is the last coin in the roll. It's going to have the die chip in the 9 and the 5, and I think we discovered that this was going to be a normal coin. Does that actually mean that we only got one RPM number 1 in this roll? And see, this has roller damage on it. That's what this is. It's not woody. That's actual damage from a roller wheel. Back side of the coin looks pretty decent. Not too bad. And there we go. Don Harmon has coin number 50 in the roll, and that's the last coin of the roll. I'm not going to disturb my piles from now because I got 5 different dies represented, but I have a number of RPM number 11. I have a number of the doubled eyelid. I have 3 of them. And then I have 3 of die number 4 on the day. Die number 2 and die number 5 I have 1 apiece of. Which basically means that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 die varieties out of this roll. 13 die varieties out of a 50 coin roll. That will represent 22% of the roll overall. That's quick math. It's probably not right, but it was impressive for sure, especially if it was right. If there was any chance that it was right. And so the coins were freed from another roll at Coppercoins. Cheers, kids. Yum, yum. This has no alcohol in it. That's my official stance, and that's what I'm going to say. Awesome sauce roll. Yeah, well, we got another roll to go through. It's going to be at 8 p.m. So I've got, well, wait a minute. No, it's at 8:30. I'm sorry, 8:30. We'll be going through a 1958 D roll. So 8:30, we have 1 hour from now. It is 7:30 here right now. And so I'm going to go ahead and take off and enjoy my nice refreshing beverage and get the roll and the flip inserts and everything else ready for our next reveal. So I appreciate it, folks. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for being a part of this adventuresome journey into the 1957 D Lincoln Cent. I appreciate you guys. Have a great evening for those of you who don't return. And for those of you who do return, I'll see you in 1 hour.